Just joining us, thanks for stopping by. This is Weather Overtime. This is our online video weather blog where we keep you updated with what's going on and give you a little bit more information than what you can get in a normal weather broadcast out there. Before we run up to about the possible ISS pass, we'll take a look at some of the weather going on. 79 the high. This was about as typical as you could get for a temperature of where we're supposed to be at this time of the year. 94 the record high. 1936, that was a very hot year. Looking at 38, the record low set back in 1906. 65 was the low temperature there, and no rainfall for today. And we're behind for the year, but only by a fraction of an inch because we caught up on a whole bunch of rainfall when those storms moved through by about Wednesday. Very quiet weekend coming up, not expecting any problems. We will see again, hopefully some clearer skies for tonight before the potential of the aurora with a new storm that has launched itself off the sun. We'll talk about that in just a little while. Slurpy sunset. Thank you very much, News 12 newscast director, production department employee Rainey Randolph, for a beautiful view looking west across the street from the News 12 studios across Broad Street, and at sunset picking up a very nice view of the ginormous Slurpee on the roof. Haven't been over there yet. Would love to go over and do some shopping, but just haven't had the chance to. So thanks to 7-Eleven for opening a very close by proximity store. Hope to be giving that a try here coming up relatively soon. The weekend looks pretty good. No big problems coming up where it comes to any outdoor activities. Fog in the morning could be a bit of an issue. Rest of the day, kind of breezy, no wind advisories, but could be looking again at some breeze taking place. And otherwise looking again for whatever you or mom is going to be doing this weekend. If mom's heading to the golf course, no problem at all. Fog in the morning, sunny in the afternoon, kind of breezy, but otherwise looking pretty good all the way across the area. Beautiful evening in downtown from the Chattanooga area of the Tennessee Aquarium. Lots of folks out and about on the Tennessee Aquarium Chattanooga weather webcam from right along Aquarium Way. Beautiful evening. Again, a few clouds out there tonight, but mostly clear skies otherwise, and should be staying that way. We did have more than a few clouds taking place thanks to the moisture that was heading down from behind what was left of a cold front. Severe thunderstorm watches now done. That system that moved through where we were just a few days ago, finally not seeing anything in the way of severe weather, so that system is pretty much almost over and done with at this time, so definitely some good news there. Temperatures at the top of the hour, it's very mild back over towards Scottsboro, 73 in northeastern Alabama. Meanwhile, back in the mid-50s, northern and eastern parts of the viewing area into western North Carolina and parts of southeastern Tennessee. Very pleasant out there, but it is going to be a bit on the brisk side into the rest of the evening, so that could be a bit of a concern out there. For the forecast into, again, the rest of the weekend, winds are coming out of the northwest, chasing that storm system down to our south, and that is going to be, again, our dry period for the time being. We've got a little bit of moisture taking place along this latest next storm system coming through here. This used to be, excuse me again, allergies really starting to cause some problems here. That was just a stretched out long area of low pressure in the atmosphere. It's called a trough. Now we're looking at a full-fledged cold front about ready to move on through. Reinforcing shot of cool, dry air coming down from the north and the west. So that'll be what rules our forecast into the rest of the weekend. So for tomorrow morning, that front will be coming in from the northwest. It'll be getting here after the early afternoon hours. Upper 40s, not out of the question. That's going to be about as cool as it gets over the next several days. The computer models, again, when it's very dry surrounding a front like this on all sides, the computers try to sneak in the potential of some rainfall. It's not much. It's on here. It's the best potential of rainfall that we've seen right in the proximity of that front. But I'm going to ignore this, and so should you. I don't see anything in the way of rainfall chances possibly coming back with this because of just this huge amount of dry air. So the computer model is just getting a little over-eager to put that rainfall chance into the forecast, and that's about as good as it gets. Now, drying out as we go into the rest of the weekend, high pressure comes in. Air around high pressure in the northern hemisphere rotates clockwise, so this is going to drive a lot of drier air down our direction. But then, late Sunday, early Monday, that area of high pressure goes east of us, which means where we were in that northern flow, we're now going to be in the southerly flow. So starting Monday, more clouds. Monday afternoon, a few showers possible. And then we get into Tuesday morning, better potential of showers, maybe some thunderstorms down to our south. And then that's going to continue right on in from Tuesday into around Wednesday and Thursday, and from what it looks like, quite possibly Friday, somewhere in there. So we do have the chance of some much heavier amounts of rainfall. We see again over the next several days temperatures moderating a little bit, not seeing a big cool down, although it is going to be very comfortable out there. That's really going to help some things out. But what we are also going to see is from the Climate Prediction Center, their medium range forecast models are showing for the potential of heavy rainfall. This is a very large polygon area, so the potential of anything involving maybe some flash flooding, maybe some more heavy rainfall goes from basically New York City around the tri-state area all the way down to the Delta and over portions of Florida. This is a very large area to forecast for right now. In the next several days, as we get closer to the end of the week, that's when we'll see this kind of shrink, and we'll see new forecasts being issued by the time we get into the early part of next week. So this is going to be the next potential problem weather maker coming on through. Right now, again, we do not have any threat of severe weather, so good news on that, but it is possible that we could see some more heavy rainfall. So the basic bottom line is that as of right now, if you have any outdoor plans over the next several days, keep them, but be ready to move back indoors again just in case, because we will be seeing that potential for more problems coming up. Just past 10 o'clock Eastern, if you're joining us for a few minutes on YouTube and around Twitch, thanks a lot for signing up for the updates. Thanks a lot for checking in on Weather Overtime. If you have questions, drop them into the comments section. We'd love to see more about what you're looking at out there, and love to be able to bring you more information as to what is happening across much of the area. Again, for tonight, decently quiet. Into the next couple of days, here's what we're looking at. Again, possibility of fog tomorrow morning. There's a lot of moisture in the soils out there, so not surprising that we may see the potential of some fog radiating upwards, especially with some of these cooler temperatures in the high 40s to lower 50s. Rest of Saturday and Sunday look pretty good. No major problems being seen at this time. And then into next week, past the weekend, starting Monday and continuing all the way through Friday, that's where we see the best potential of getting some heavier rainfall toward the end of the week, according to what the Climate Prediction Center is saying. And then as we go into the next weekend or so, I don't think we're looking at too much going on here. Looks like by Saturday we may see some showers left over, but that's going to be about it. And then we probably will be done with the rainfall. But yet again, another week filled with more chances of showers and thunderstorms. So anything in the way of outdoor activities, graduation ceremonies going on, late proms taking place, anything in the way of field day at the local elementary and junior high schools, that is where we're going to be seeing the potential problem. You may have to get everybody back indoors again as we see more of that heavier chances of rainfall getting a little bit closer to us. So that, again, could be just a bit of a problem there. So please stay tuned to News 12, and we'll keep you advised on that. Again, if you haven't had the chance to do so, please think about upgrading your weather emergency, wireless emergency alerts capabilities on your phone, and have many separate ways to make certain that you're able to get warnings on your phone, through weather apps, on your computer, text and email messaging service, through social media, and from your family and friends. Don't depend on just the tornado sirens when severe weather moves on through. Please don't do that. That is something that is not the best thing to depend on. Houses and buildings are built more sturdy these days, so the odds of you hearing a tornado siren are very much on the low side. That is something to really consider, again, as we go into the last portion of the last peak of severe weather season in and around this area of the country. So please have a way to make certain that you get warnings out there and stay ready when it comes to things like severe weather. Be one of the best things you can do for yourself, especially learning how to be weather aware. I want to talk a little bit more here. Again, if you have damage from the storms and you live in the News 12 viewing area, the News 12 viewing area is covered over by 4 different National Weather Service forecast office jurisdictions. In this case, I'm using the page from Huntsville, Alabama, which covers DeKalb and Jackson counties in Alabama, the northeastern corner of the state of Alabama, and partially because that area got hit pretty hard, confirmed around Henniger, there was an EF2 tornado. 7 injuries, no fatalities, thankfully. If you see reports, if you have reports of anything, if you saw something happen around your property, tree down, missing shingles, windows broken, cars damaged, anything that was caused by the storm, please go to your local National Weather Service forecast office. Take a look at what is available there at the Submit a Storm Report area. Usually you'll find it somewhere in the drop-down menus here. In this case, for Huntsville, in that jurisdiction, it's under the area where it says Current Hazards. Fill out your storm report and then submit that to the National Weather Service. What good is this going to do? Your information, when a forecast is made for severe weather, for the direction of a tornado, for whatever purpose, and this forecast goes one way, but the field of debris goes another, the meteorologists and personnel and the mathematicians and the specialists and the researchers who forecast and make the forecast happen, they can take that information and help make the forecast better that you provide when they see the storm goes one way and the actual track went another. Your information, being a citizen scientist, can really, really, really help out on things like that. So please consider submitting your information to make certain that it is available. It's going to be something that would really, really, really help out, again, for future forecasts. Something to think about there, so please consider that just to be on the safe side. Good opportunity, again, to practice citizen science, so your opportunity to learn a little bit more about what is going on out there, and a good opportunity to help the meteorologists and personnel of the National Weather Service get that forecast updated. So your information could mean quite a lot just to be on the safe side. Again, that really does help. Don't think that your information will not do anything. That is something that can really, really, really help out when it comes to severe weather research. The smallest bit of information can really be a boon in situations like that. Keeping an eye out right now. We're not seeing it just yet. It should be the International Space Station should be rising here pretty soon. We're keeping our eye on Island Cove as we look for a fairly steadily moving point of light in the sky. We're looking off to the west-southwest at this time. I may need to pan over by just a little bit. Still not seeing anything right there. That bright star, not too sure what that is. We'll take a look. Oh, and Sylvester the Spider decides to make an appearance there. So nice to be able to see that. Okay, I believe that's Regulus, the star in Leo the Lion. It'll be coming right up again through that particular area. Not seeing it yet, and focusing on this area, it'd be kind of neat to be able to see it. No guarantee we're going to be able to. If you have to go outside, if you're out there right now in the News 12 viewing area, look off to the south, and you south-southwest, moving across the sky to the north-northeast. That would be your best bet of being able to see this. We may have gotten our times wrong on here and are losing autofocus, unfortunately. This is a good opportunity to take a look and see, again, what goes on in the way of backyard astronomy. Good way to get your kids outdoors and take a look around and see what's out there. Not just stargazing, but also just, again, taking a look for any of the satellites to fly over. The website is heavensabove.com if you'd like to take a look there. Okay, should just about be rising and escaping Earth's shadow. And Sylvester, yes, I see you there. I'm sorry I had to move your camera, but we're trying to move that out of the way to see what is going on. And as of right now, great big spider, but no sign of the International Space Station just yet. Again, if you're just joining us, it is just past 10 o'clock. We're waiting to see if we can see the International Space Station here in just a few seconds, rising up out of the southwest. There is going to be some time differential there. Wow, okay, that's new. We've got an autofocus issue with Sylvester right smack in the field of view. That'll take a second or two to clear out here in just a moment. Again, beautiful night tonight, not a problem being seen anywhere else. There's a light show for you. Not seeing any sign of it just for right now. Maybe looking down to the south just a little bit. Let me pan down a little bit farther. We might have had something. We're looking for the International Space Station. If you're just tuning in and joining us to see what's going on, we should have been looking off to the west-southwest, and it should be somewhere in view at this point, but we're not seeing any signs of anything moving up there. What you'd be looking for would be just like a star against the background of night. You would look like a normal point of light going overhead. We may see less in the way of visibility here because of the fact that sometimes the times differentiate between what is posted on the website and what shows up out there. Maybe, hang on one second. Okay, yes, 2 seconds here. Let's get Sylvester out of the way. And there it is, right there, International Space Station, making its way back up over the area. Again, that's just a bright moving point of light, but that is the International Space Station. Humans orbiting 200 miles above us. Nice to be able to see that. Again, you should be able to go out there and see that. That's going all the way across the sky. This is super bright. This is comparable to looking for something like the planet Venus out there. So we did get a chance to see that on our cameras for this evening. International Space Station in view, going overhead, waving hello to everybody up there. Really cool place to look for science and astronomy and trying all sorts of new things there. If we're lucky, in just a minute, we might be able to see this on the other side of the sky. So let me take a couple of seconds to view around the other side of things. That was the Island Cove Marina and Resort camera. In just a second or two, we might be able to see this making its way across the sky. Coming up in just a second, as soon as we get done satellite spotting here, want to make certain that everybody's aware of what's going on with the sun. We had what is called a mega spot going on. You can see the spot with your sunglass, your eclipse glasses that you had a few weeks ago. Nice to be able to use those again so soon. But if you would like to be able to take a look, there's a huge sunspot on the sun, and you can see them again with those glasses. So it's kind of neat to be able to see that. And that sunspot, that big area of sunspot, has launched a solar storm at Earth and is now making its way. It's blasting past us, and it is doing a very good job of causing some radio blackouts and things like that. It's not as big as you may have heard of the Carrington event back in 1859. It's nowhere even close to that, but it is, again, one of the bigger storms that we have seen in quite some time. We'll talk more about that coming up here in just a little bit. The point is that if you look north tonight and you're away from all of this sky shine, you might have the chance of being able to see some of that aurora taking place. Again, it's not a great chance, but it is a potential. It is a possibility that you might be able to see a little bit more of that. And that's something that is really on the cool side to be able to take a look at. Again, away from city lights, we're very far south, so it's doubtful we're really going to be able to see anything this far south, but this is going to be one of the strongest solar storms that we have seen in quite some time. So whether or not we're able to see that, we're going to kind of have to wait and take a look. We're waiting on this view from downtown on the Bailey's Heating and Air camera to take a look back toward the north and to the east, and I'm hoping that we should be able to see the International Space Station passing on through. Should be up there somewhere close to the northeast and setting very soon. I'm not seeing it coming into view just yet, but it is possible we might catch a glimpse of that going back to the north and to the east. So hoping to see that. It's just about ready to set, so it should be almost in view. Again, great opportunity on nights like this where it's nice and dry to be able to go out and see anything in the way of what's happening with stargazing out there. There we go. Okay, just over a little farther. It'll come into view here in just a second. On the left-hand side of the screen, give us a second, and hopefully we shouldn't. It's kind of hard to see in the glare, but basically looking right over there, that little white dot that you see, that's the International Space Station heading down and sinking toward the northeastern limb of the horizon. So nice to be able to see the space station overhead. It's nice to be able to catch some of that going on, and there'll be other chances, and we have websites that you can go to take a look and see at what's happening. So thank you very much for bearing with me on that particular portion. I'm an astronomy nerd. I always have been, always have enjoyed being one, so it's always nice to be able to see stuff like that happening. All right, let's go to our special presentation for tonight. This is a very big thing. Now, some of this data is very old, but what we're looking at here is called the planetary K index. That, again, is the information of how much energy is splatting into the Earth's atmosphere. Notice it's very green, starts ramping up, and then all of a sudden it goes way up on the red side of things. The interesting thing was there was so much energy and so much of it was moving so fast that the first portion of the storm, for the first about hour of the storm's arrival, the energy that was being detected was only just a little bit. It was basically misunderestimated by the system that keeps track of stuff like this, according to, if I read that correctly, at Dr. Tamitha Skov, Space Weather Live information there. It was basically just such a shockwave that it basically fooled the instruments into thinking it was a lot lower when actually it was a lot stronger. Inside the circle here, that is about 15 Earths wide. That is how big this incredible array of sunspots are. And this area where the magnetic fields get all twisted up, when these sunspots occur, and we're at solar maximum, so there's a lot of them, this thing launched a huge pulse of plasma. High energy, highly energized gas is basically what happened. Let me see if I still, hopefully, there we go. What you're looking at here, I hope. Let's get, where do they go? There we go. Okay, so what we're looking at, this is the view basically along the equator of the solar system, and this one is looking down on the sun from a 90-degree angle. The green dot is Earth, and what you're seeing is that right there. That is a pulse of energy. That is actually several pulses of energy, huge burst of energy coming off the solar surface, and you can see that a lot of it is kind of like north-south directed up here, so that it is slicing its way out through the rest of the solar system. All these making their way on through. You can see the pulse there making its way past planet Earth in sort of a sideways fashion. This is incredible to take a look at. This is a huge, huge matter. So this is really something to notice. Now, what does this all have to do with us? Well, usually where we are, way on down to the south, way down here, you have to have a storm like this to have any chance of being able to see the aurora, the northern lights as they're called. It's not going to be as huge as what you see upwards into around portions of the North Pole, northern Canada, things like that. It's going to be difficult to be able to see anything like that, but it is going to be possible to be able to take a look and see more of the aurora than we usually do into and around this area. So for right now, the best possibility is that, according to this from Space WX Watch on X and Twitter, a really neat site to follow regarding stuff like this, they reforecast the red line, the southern extent of where we might be able to see the aurora, well on down past Atlanta, down to Jackson, Mississippi. So here's the way this whole thing may wind up in the course of the next few hours. Now, the best bet is going to be, of course, north of the United States-Canadian border. Best chance to see there. Further south, better chance from, say, Seattle, Portland, Northern California, all the way over to around New England. Farther than that, as we get down to around close to our area, better than usual chance being seen here. And as we get down to where we are, again, it's not great, but it is the best chance we have seen so far. What you're going to want to do is, if you're anywhere around this area, look to the north, get away from way away from city lights. Look to the north, and right around the horizon, you might see kind of a glow taking place. You might have a better opportunity using a time lapse or an extended exposure on your camera, and you might see a greenish glow well back to the north. Could be on the red side. It kind of depends on what the interaction of the energy with the Earth's atmosphere is all about, but this could wind up being the strongest solar storm since 2003-2005. Plenty of great websites out there to take a look and see what is going on. And again, this is just pretty much for tonight. The storm could continue into the weekend. If that happens, we might have another chance to see a little bit more about this into tomorrow, but it depends on how strong the storm gets. If it goes all the way down to the south of us, that's going to be the best bet. So anything into around midnight and afterwards, well before dawn, look to the north. Again, away from city lights is going to be your best bet to be able to take a look in that area north of the Tennessee River Valley. That is where we may see the best potential of anything involving the northern lights in this very powerful storm system that launched itself off the sun a couple of days ago from that mega sunspot area. So if you have the chance to get out and take a look at this, please do. Again, cameras on a delay on the not time lapse, but on a longer exposure might be your best bet on this. So it's a good opportunity to be able to take a look and see something that we usually don't. The odds are not good. The best possibility of seeing anything will be well to our north, but there is that slim chance that way on down here we might actually see a little bit better than what we have seen in the way of auroras at any other point in time. Is there any danger to us? No, not at this point. Would love to be able to show you the Space Weather Prediction Center and take a look. Give me 1 second here. Looks like another, 1, 2, 3, 4, another X-class flare has been observed coming off the solar surface. This is some really big stuff here, to where another X5.4 flare from that same region. Flares of this magnitude are not frequent. Again, this could be a bit of a problem for anything heading our direction in the way of radio. The Space Weather Prediction Center, it's a real thing. Don't email me and tell me it's not. Again, this is something that is really cool to take a look at and things like this. We are getting, wow, this is something else. We have been slammed with this. So the higher and lower altitudes, way up around the North Pole, way down around Antarctica, have been hit by some very powerful energy. So these areas, the red, may see much reduced anything in the way of GPS or anything. There's another smack of that storm right over the Pacific taking place. This is huge. This is absolutely incredible to take a look and see what is going on out there. Let me just take a look and see. Okay, that's, never mind about that. Saw that message down here at the bottom talking about minor X-ray flux going on. It is possible that, again, in these areas that we may see difficulty in communications with radio, could be problems with GPS. This is some intense weather, something we have not seen for a while. Again, for those of you who are asking, there's another big shock wave that just hit just a few hours ago, picking up more of that energy taking place. The one thing to remember about this is that while this is strong, and taking a look right here where it says the flare strength is X5.4, that's strong. That's very strong from what we've seen in quite some time. The Carrington event back in about 1859, the Carrington event was a massive outburst. In this parlance, using that scale, it was an X80. It was magnificently huge. It was just absolutely incredible, the effects that were felt about that on the planet. Again, this is something that does not even come close to that, but it is the strongest that we have seen for quite some time. So for tonight, and again, let's take a look at this. There's the sunspot right there rotating over, I believe that's the western limb of the sun, if I'm not mistaken. So this will be heading away from us and rotating away, so hopefully any other space blasts will be going away from us and will not be a problem for us anytime soon. So that's some very good news. But until then, we could see some radio blackouts at this point in time. And the aurora forecast, from what we're looking at here, is again very, very much on the strong side. You can see it grow in intensity here. We're all the way down this direction toward the southeastern United States, but you can just see this has been happening for the last few hours. So you'll notice the oval of the aurora around the North Pole heading around, and then it's going to get very much stronger. There goes that first shock wave coming on through, very strong and continuing. This is an area where the aurora will be the best possible to be seen. The daytime side over here, nighttime side over here. So we have been looking at some very powerful amounts of energy coming off from the sun. Whether or not that continues over the next few days, we're going to have to wait and see, but that is some amazing stuff really to take a look at there. Think that's going to do it for tonight. We've been on for quite some time. No questions from anybody in and around YouTube or Twitch, so good news on that. One last thing to talk about. Two other things. First of all, again, it is Hurricane Preparedness Week, so if you're tuning in from this and you live anywhere along the coastlines, now's the time to get ready for packing information into your head about what needs to be done to monitor the weather, to plan a vacation or a trip into an area where these storms are going to be heading on through. Different topics throughout the entire week. This is the National Weather Service and NOAA's opportunity to help you get prepared for everything. The last day is coming up tomorrow. The last day topic tomorrow is going to be Take Action Today. Know what's coming ahead of time. Be prepared for any storms that may happen. Today's topic is using caution after the storms. If you are in an area you can't get out of and you're going to be stuck there for a while, you got to be careful of all sorts of dangers. Downed power lines, debris, wild animals, anything in the way of murky water that could be getting into drinking water systems, the inability to be able to send messages. A lot of people I know joke about amateur radio. Why do we need it? It's an antique science. We don't need it around anymore. Why? Because we've got this. We don't have to worry about it. Well, if all the cell phone towers have been blown out to sea and the power is off, you're not going to be able to use this to order a pizza in 30 minutes in the middle of a wiped out disaster zone. That is why we need amateur radio operators and the hobby of amateur radio to help out during systems like this that head on through. Add to that planning ahead. You do not want to be moving into an area near the coast with a storm heading that direction. You're just going to have to turn right back around and get out of the path of the storm. Yes, it could veer one direction or the other depending on the steering winds, but the forecast is a lot better than what it was 30, 40 years ago. Much more accurate. There are changes that take place, but that is why it is so important to pay attention to the forecast and make certain you know what may be coming your direction. This is one very good week of information to help you get prepared for the possibility of danger from these storms. You cannot take these things anything less but seriously. It is something to really watch out for, and this week, tons of information available. Where do you go? More information at NOAA, NOAA, the National Oceanic and Atmospheric Administration, noaa.gov/hurricane-prep. Or you can just go to noaa.gov and you can find out more. They'll have tons of information available for you there. So again, a good opportunity to take a look and see what exactly is going on. Want to stay safe. You want to stay as safe as possible, and this is going to be the time frame to do it. So please, again, make sure that you are paying attention to what is going on with all of that. Okay, so one last thing to do, and this is the high temperature that is really kind of interesting and scary to think about. From the Met Office in the United Kingdom back over toward the British Isles, the new record high temperature that was officially set back in 2022 in the Lincolnshire area. This is something that is very weird and happening in the sense that we are getting more and more of these record highs just being busted every single year. Temperatures like this are usually unheard of in Britain and in and around the United Kingdom. This is something to really take a look at here to notice what was the record high temperature: 89, 99, 104, or 111. This again is part of our friendinroofing.com weather poll question of the day. 51% of you said 104, and that is the correct answer. We'll have a new poll going up for the weekend, so please make certain you stay tuned for that. And thanks to everybody who voted in on our poll today, and the majority of people out there got the question right. So thank you very much for stopping by and taking a look at our poll at WDEF.com. That should do it for tonight. Again, things are quiet for now. We do see the possibility of heavy rain and maybe some stronger weather coming up as we go into the weekend. So please pay attention to the forecast there. And I'll have more details coming up a little bit later on into next week. Always remember, you can get more forecast details available at our website, wdef.com/weather, and I'll have more details and a new update on the possibility of heavy rain, maybe some severe weather by next week. Kind of iffy, but we'll see. So stay tuned for more there, and we'll have more details on News 12 throughout the rest of the weekend on air as well. I'm Chief Meteorologist Austen Onek. This has been Weather Overtime for Friday, May 10th. Thanks for joining us for tonight's forecast, and stay tuned for much more throughout the weekend with News 12 on air and online.